Shalom, everybody, and thank you for joining us. My name is Rabbi Dr. Rabbi Shapira, and I'm the founder of Ahavat Ami International. Even before October the 7th, Ahavat Ami International has been focused in bringing you the truth, the message of the last days in an unfiltered way to every nation, tribe, and tongue. Of course, after October 7th, this effort expedited with teachings, public lectures, and of course, release of books like the Fall of Edom and the New Hamas that I sincerely hope has been impactful on your life as we translated those to many languages. And of course, we will look forward to releasing more teachings, more books for you. The question that I'm asked more than any other ones by many is how do we deal with the blatant lies, with the agenda and the propaganda that without a doubt is satanic. I have chosen this day today, a day that I celebrate my 48th birthday, just like Israel in 1948 became a nation, to bring you a different type of broadcast, something that is more personal, something that is more difficult for us to process. You see, in my journeys, I ran into Jewish people who themselves turned their back on the state of Israel. Although Torah commands us to love every Jew, I want to tell you something, that Jewish people who turn their back on Israel and in their own Jewishness are perhaps the most dangerous of all. This is the sinat chinam and the blameless hatred that is the most dangerous thing for us to consider. Today, more than ever, Israel needs unity, or as we call it in Hebrew, achdut. In my journeys, I ran into a young man. Now, while there is a twist to the story that I'll have to tell you about a little bit later, I'm asking you to pray. To pray not just for this young man that you're going to meet today, but for many secular, liberal Jews who lost their identity of what it means to be Jewish and what it means to be part of the household of Israel. May God use this tragedy to unify as one people, and may many from the nations will join in. I do believe that this is the time to choose. So how do we combat those things? It's simple. With the facts and with truth. Those are the two things that we must be looking at. Now, this young man that you're going to meet today, he got his facts wrong and the truth twisted. From time to time, I will come back to share and clarify a few things, because you, faithful viewers, I know that those who are watching this channel are seeking the truth, are real truth seekers. And that's why we operate this channel, even put our own life at risk, that every day we receive death threats in the channel via email. But we will not stop until every Jew will dwell safely in the land, and until King Messiah come and restore his own people. So today, in this day, the day that we are looking at what's happening in the world and ask the question, how much more we can endure? I'm asking you to look at the facts, look at the truth, read and promote those books like the New Hamas and the Fall of Edom. Please help us. Let's spread the truth. faster than any lies. I will be back with you in just a few moments, but for now, I want you to meet my good friend David.
We have the Palestinian. By the way, what's your name?
David.
David.
Yeah.
You have a nice name. Why you have a Jewish name?
Because I'm Jewish.
You are Jewish?
I'm Jewish, yeah.
David, I'm Israeli.
I know.
Have you ever been in Israel?
I have not, no.
Okay.
There you
First
go.
of all, you're Jewish. So I said to you, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Here I go. I'm going to stay next to my Jewish friend who is in support of Palestine. So David, as a Jew, as an American,
Yep.
and as a human being, tell me why you are in support of Palestine. I am so curious. And I'm doing it in a very friendly way.
Absolutely, yeah,
So
no, 100%. Yeah, we can get into it. Let's get into it. All
Let's
right,
get
I'm here
into
for
it.
I consider it's a colonization project, right? Would you agree with that?
No, I don't.
See,
Let me
that's
ask-
see, we're off the top on different pages.
So let's ask you a question.
Yeah.
When Islam, if you want to talk about colonization, let's ask the question. When did Islam came about? When is Islam formed?
Why is this about Islam?
Because you say it's colonization, but
not a religious colonization necessarily. It's a Western colonization.
Wait a second, but you are Jewish, so you know that King David, David HaMelech, like your name, King David. Before there was Islam, we were there before there was Islam. How can you colonize something that was given to you before there was even Islam?
Well, number one, there were Jews in Palestine before the Balfour Mandate, right?
No, not
before the Balfour Declaration.
I'm going.
I know, but
Yeah,
there were Jews living in Palestine.
all a long time.
So it's not like Jews can't be in Palestine before that, right? Now it's a Jewish state. That's a totally different question, right? Like as a Jew, you could have moved to Palestine.
No, if you say it's colonization, you mean somebody come and colonize something
a state
that was not native.
A state is being created on other people's lands. Ashkenazi Jews, which is my heritage, right? We came down to Israel after the Balfour Declaration, was when most of them came.
Before. You have to understand there were Jews in the land before. If you know a little bit of the history, all of North Israel, the Golan Heights, was all area full of malaria diseases. The Arabs didn't want it. And they sold...
People were still there.
They were not
still in the Golan Heights.
Yeah, they were. But how did the Jews even got to this land before? You have to understand, all of northern Israel was a swamp. It was a swamp full of diseases like malaria. For example, if you go to the early and mid 1800s, the average life expectancy was 30 years old. Why? Because the area called the Achula Gap, which is north of the Sea of Galilee, was all disease. Nobody wanted to live there. So Jews came from Eastern Europe and they said, okay, will you sell me this diseased land? And they said, yeah.
A land without a people for a people without a land, right? I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. There were people living there. There were people living there already.
But you have to understand something. Nobody was there because it was disease.
Okay, number one, you're talking about one specific region of Israel, right? Not all of Israel. Not everything that the Balfour Mandate declared as
You are a Jew. Do you understand Judaism come before Islam?
That has nothing to do with the question, to be honest.
That
has nothing to do with the
everything
question.
is,
Because we're talking about a colonial entity.
You're telling me that you're telling me there is an occupation.
Yeah. By Zionists. Zionism and Judaism are not the same thing.
No, Zionism and Judaism one is the same.
So we're talking about the creation of Israel and why people were moving there. That's a Zionist project, not a Jewish project. And I refuse to let you conflate the two.
Wow. Zionism and Judaism go together because the heart of the Jew, what is our national anthem? It's called a tikva. You know the word of the tikva?
Yeah.
Kolot balev ein lezion. It's for Zion. You cannot say I am Zionist and I'm against Judaism.
See, but that's the thing is you can live in Zion as a Jew without creating a Jewish state in Zion, right? That's two different things.
Wait a second. In 1948, who was in the land? Who was in the land?
Palestinian people.
No. Who was? No.
What about the Nakba? So who left during the Nakba? Or Independence Day?
No. Let's go a little bit here. 1917. Who was the entity that is in charge of the land? Which government was in charge?
Britain.
Oh, okay, very good. We're getting something. So the British come and the British says, wow, we are going to divide this land into two countries. Okay? The land called Palestina have nothing to do with the word Palestine, Palestinian. The land called Palestine. There is no concept of the people called Palestinians that came only in 1967 afterwards with Yasser Arafat. There is no such term because the Palestinians are Jordanian. Yes, this Jordan, that's a fact.
They're Jordanians. They're Syrians.
The money
They're
is
Lebanese.
No, they're Jordanian money. It's a Jordanian money in the West Bank.
It was a conglomeration of people that didn't have a state until the British came in and drew the lines for them and started calling them Palestinians.
So you see, you know history. So let's talk about this. 1947, the British mandate said we're dividing it to Arabs and Jews living side by side, right?
But with Jewish domination.
Wait.
Jewish in control of the state. The Jews were in control of the state. Yes.
Who made this decision? United Nations.
Which was controlled by the British.
By the British. Okay.
Also, wait, are we talking 48?
No, we're talking before 48. Right?
17? So that was the League of Nations.
Yeah, yes, but the world have decided. We're going to divide it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, David. The moment that the division was taking place, where if you ever read Ben Gurion says we are going to be living without religious, respecting all religion, all sexes, everything will be divided.
Yeah.
That is the foundation of the Jewish
He also said that the people that were living in Palestine, Israel, whatever you want to call it, needed to be gone in order to create a Jewish state there. Yes, he did. No, his exact words.
Let me ask you a question. When the world decided to divide the land, okay, to divide it to these two groups of people, and Jews, you need to understand something. Jews were being in the land from even the time of destruction of the time. Jewish people were always
They had always been there.
You cannot be an occupier of something that you already been part of from the beginning.
The Ashkenazi Jews that came from Eastern Europe were the ones that created. I'm not saying you are.
I'm saying,
and I'm not saying you're necessarily a colonizer either. I'm saying that Israel is a colonial project. Just because you live in Israel, you're from Israel, does not mean you are a part of that.
Jews were there all along for 2,000 years.
So why did we need a state there?
Why we needed a state? Because we had something called a Holocaust that your ancestor came from.
So why
when they murdered 6 million Jews?
So
like they're raping Jews right now in October 7 and you forget it.
So
maybe when it will happen here in Montana, you will wake up and remember what it is to be Jewish.
So why
What does it mean from the river to the sea, Palestine will be still? What does that mean?
It means
it's the annihilation of the Jews.
No.
Yes, it
no.
is.
It means the dissolution
what
of
is
the.
river?
It means the.
It
means the elimination of the Jewish state.
No,
that is not the same thing.
The elimination of the Jewish state is the elimination of the Jewish people.
See, and that's where we just fundamentally disagree. That's where we fundamentally disagree. I'm sorry.
David, let me ask you a question. When we recognize the Jewish state by the world, not Israel, by the world, what happened to the Jewish people inside the land? What did the Arabs do? In the world in
1948?
Yeah, what happened?
You mean when like 750,000 Palestinians, Arabs, whatever you want to call them, were forcibly removed from their place, from their homes?
We're a minority.
You have, okay, number one, there was a
significant...
No, hold on, let me get it. Let me answer your question. How can you be removed?
No, but don't interrupt. Did we ever attack? I just want to know where we attacked from the north and from the south and from the east.
Absolutely.
Okay, so unprovoked.
You're talking about a colonial project.
How is a colonial project?
That's like saying that the United States being attacked by Native Americans was unprovoked.
Wait a second.
They were taking their land. That's not unprovoked.
The British divided the land.
Without any consent from the people who were living there.
But that's not their land. It was British land.
How did the British get it?
How did the British? From the Turks.
Because they conquered it, or they bought it? How did they get it from the Turks?
There was a war in the land. There was a war between the British.
So they conquered it. So the people who actually lived there never agreed to the British.
Your father and my father, King David, was there before was Islam. If you want to talk about anything, what is the
Again, this is not an Islamic issue. This is not Islam versus Judaism. This is a state. This is a state.
So you don't believe that God gave the Jewish people this land?
I don't believe in God, to be honest. That's another
That is
issue,
the problem,
right?
especially as a Jew.
Yeah. I've always been an agnostic Jew for the most part.
You have to,
culturally, absolutely.
David, you have to remember something. How did the Jews, where the immigration came from? Why did the immigration came from? We suffer 6 million Jews who have been sent to
I know about the Holocaust.
No, you don't know. You're too young. Maybe your parents and grandparents know. You don't know. You don't experience it. But you know what? Here's what did we learn. October 7th, let me ask you a question. We're jumping a little bit forward.
Yeah.
How can you justify?
I won't.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, you don't?
I think that October 7th was horrible. There's no question. How do you justify?
So let us understand the claim and the propaganda and the agenda. I've written in my notes a few things that we have to clearly define. Because those are the things that you're going to hear again and again. Number one, the false claim that Israel is a colonization project. That is false. If you understand colonization and what colonization look like, colonization always based on a mother country that sent emissaries to colonize another group of people and tower over them. This is simply not the case. All the Jews who came to the land of Israel were not colonizers. They ran away because of oppression. They ran away because of persecution. They ran away because they had no place. They ran away because they were rejected and outcast. They did not come to conquer any place or conquer land. The Jewish people have been oppressed people from the very beginning, persecuted people. Israel and the early settlers of the land of Israel are not occupiers. Everybody needs to understand it. That's number one. There is no colonization project. Number two, Aliyah to Israel, again, the mistake that David makes, it in that only Ashkenazi Jews came post 1917 from Eastern Europe. That, friend, is another false statement, which is impossible to comprehend. For example, if we read about the disciples of the Gaon of Vilna, of the Baal Shem Tov in the 1700s, in the 1800s, in the late 1800s, even to the early 1900s, they all came to the land for one purpose: to connect with the lands of their fathers. How did they get the land? Were they a colonizer in the 1700s during the Ottoman Empire or under the British Empire later on? No! They came to the land and they purchased the land. They purchased it with money, with a lot of money. And why did they do it? Because the Muslims who were there, they had no desire of living in a place that are filled with malaria, filled with diseases, filled with sickness. In the 1800s, for example, the average life expectancy was 30 years old. It was those Jewish settlers who, for example, who planted the eucalyptus trees in order to suck the disease out of the land. All of northern Israel was disease. We have to know the fact. There is no occupations, and those settlers are not colonizers in the respective of the word that they came to tower over people. Furthermore, Judaism does not believe in proselytizing other groups. They did not come to oppress or like the Inquisition to convert the Muslim. This is not the way that the Jewish faith works. They came there to connect with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in a land that nobody wanted. This really has to be understood. Number three, we have to also understand that we cannot call Israel a colonizing nation where 22% of the population today is Muslim. I want everybody to understand that the state of Israel have 1 out of 5 people is Muslim living side by side with a Jew in a state that is called Israel. This, friend, is not a colonization. Number 4, which is important, you heard David speak about this expression, from the river to the sea. Well, where's this expression come from? It's come from an organization that is called Hamas. Now, many people don't know that Hamas is stemmed and was built from the Muslim Brotherhood. And they called for the elimination of the Jewish people, for the elimination of Zionism, and to destruction of the state of Israel. Allow me to ask you a question today. If there is no state of Israel today, where would the Jews go? To Columbia University? Or maybe they go to Yale and Harvard? Or maybe they will go to Paris or Amsterdam or Belgium. Where did the Jews have to go to be safe? And the answer is nowhere. If the state of Israel does not exist, it means the complete elimination of the Jewish people as a whole. From the river to the sea is anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, and anti-Israel statement. Point clear. Now, another statement that was made by David, which is false, is about the fact that in 1948, in May 14, when the state of Israel was established, but what is called the Balfour Declaration in 1817, that chose to separate the land to two states. But everybody has to understand it. There were equal amount of Jews, 600,000, and about 700,000, or roughly, of Muslims. So it was roughly 50-50. When the United Nations chosen to divide the land for good reason, what was stated by David Ben-Gurion: freedom of religion without separation of sex, religion, or agenda. Open to everybody, Jew, Muslim, Christian, to practice their faith. Nobody removed the Muslims. That, friend, is a lie. There was no occupation and there was no removal of the Muslims. On the contrary, on the day Israel, and I encourage you, read Israel Declaration of Independence. Muslims are free to worship the way they see fit. But the problem is that they have never seen Israel and the Jewish people right to exist. So what did they do? They fought against Israel in the War of Independence of the Jewish people. Immediately they have attacked Israel. David is wrong. And those who spread this agenda are wrong. They were not forcibly removed from the land. That is a lie. So there is no colonization. There was never a colonization here. We are not towering over the Muslims. We have to understand that today in Israel, even today in the 21st century, 1 out of 5 are Muslims, and they are equal Israeli citizens like me. They have no different rights. The Arab parties are in the Knesset. They're representing them in the Knesset. So it's all democratic. While the same democratic parties are supporting from the river to the sea. Unbelievable. The amount of hypocrisies and lies of Hasatan himself. Do not fall into this. The conversation with David even become harder as we start to talk about Hamas. And ask the question, do you know what Hamas believes? Check out his own
You
answer.
read what they call it, the declaration of faith of Hamas.
I do not support
Okay.
Hamas.
Oh.
I do not support Hamas.
So wait a second, you don't support Hamas.
Number one, that's not true.
Wait,
It's the government of Gaza, not all of Palestine. Number two, just because I don't support the American government, but that doesn't mean that I can't be an American citizen.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You say you don't support Hamas, but you support the Palestinian state.
Yes. But not the state necessarily, the people. Because the people, they don't really have a state.
Here is a question for you. In 2005, Israel left Gaza and let the Palestinian people self-govern themselves.
Yep.
I have a question for you, just a yes or no. Who put Hamas in power democratically?
The Palestinian people.
Oh, so wait a second. So here's the problem. You tell me I don't support Hamas.
They have.
I said wait. I heard you.
Sorry.
I don't support Hamas, but I support the Palestinian people. But what I just asked you is you put them in power and you say it's the Palestinian people.
Okay.
You need to understand.
So let me respond.
So hold on, let me just reiterate. I'll let you respond.
Yeah.
Here is the problem, and you need to understand. Hundreds of millions of dollars came into the Gaza. Gaza could have been, and I want you to listen to somebody Israeli.
I'm listening.
Gaza could have been another Singapore. Israel said, do whatever you want. What did they do with the hundreds of millions? Build thousands of tunnels, thousands of tunnels to bring weapons, let us invest in education, in infrastructure. The Hamas is the Palestinian people because they are the one who put them in that. And fact number two, the other side, West Bank. Tell me, who is in charge of the West Bank? His name is Abu Mazen. Abu Mazen is in charge of the West Bank. Why is it that he now deferred the election 3 times? I will tell you why. And you research it yourself.
Yeah.
It is because Hamas is now in charge also of the West Bank. The reality, of course, the reality is, the fact is that Hamas itself is in charge of the people. The people choose Hamas. It's a democracy. The people choose Hamas.
That was in 2005, right?
2005
has Hamas allowed more elections since then? No, they have
Yes,
not. No, they have
did.
not. No, they have not.
Oh, okay. So
They have not. So you're talking about
really?
a democratically elected governmental body that has been not elected again since 2005. That's like George Bush still running this country.
So that's why in the West Bank they had multiple elections and Abu Mazen did not allow another one because Hamas is the people. You have to understand, the Hamas is the people.
So you're saying that the people are terrorists?
I am telling you that the people supporting terror. I'll give you an example. In the West Bank, when October 7 happened, if you see the picture from the West Bank, I'm not even talking about the pictures from Gaza. The people go with candies and shout, allowing you that if you saw the picture from Gaza, you saw in Gaza.
They are celebrating. They're celebrating. Absolutely.
How can you even talk about peace when people who celebrating death? When your religion says, David, I am going to take a bomb and are you married?
I'm not.
Okay, one day you have children. You would not want to say to your child, I want you to go and kill yourself because 70 virgins are waiting. I'll tell you this, I want you to remember this, and everybody to understand. This is my challenge to everybody who do not know where they are in this thing. Read the charter of Hamas. That's all what I'm asking you to do. Not what I think, not what I feel. Read the charter of Hamas. And the charter of Hamas say annihilation of Jews worldwide. World annihilation of Jews. You cannot make war or peace or even dialogue with anybody who does not recognize that you have a right to exist as a human being. So when we talk about peace and harmony and all of those things, if I don't recognize you as a human being, I'm not talking about as a Jew or a Christian. If I don't recognize that you have a right to breed right now, we cannot even have anything.
See, like the hypocrisy is unbelievable.
Why?
Because at the moment you support what the Israeli government is doing, bombing children and entire families, civilians that have nothing to do with the conflict.
They don't recognize my right to live. I am not human for them.
There you go.
But David,
David, so everybody, by the way, everybody in Gaza is completely on board.
Who put them in charge, David? Have you read the Chamber of Hamas? Have you read it?
I have not.
No.
I understand.
Okay, read it.
I understand that Hamas is a problem. I've never said that they're
in charge. Democratically, they are in charge.
That's like saying that I support everything that the U.S. government does because I'm American. That's absolutely untrue.
No,
absolutely
the majority of the people were with candy in the street. And by the way, if the majority of people against Hamas, I'm sorry, it's been 232 days. Uprise against Hamas, take them, but you don't see
as you're getting bombed. That's going to work really well.
So tell me something. When they released the hostages, this girl, and they asked him, where were you? Where were you kept? What did he say? Oh, in a residential home. The people are for Hamas. You have to understand that people are Hamas. It's a terror entity. And now what the world does, we're going to give you a country. Because guess what? Terrorism really works. And bullying and kidnapping babies and raping and beheading. That's the way we are going to get a new state. Anyway, David.
Nice to meet you.
Cool too. Blessing. Come to Israel.
So in this section, I want to talk about few factual artifacts that many people are not aware of. Number one, the Charter of Hamas called for the elimination of the Jewish people. It is based on the Charter of the Muslim Brotherhood. It is available for you. Google this information, understand this information. This is the fact. Now, number two, David made the statement, as many people are making this false statement in those last days, especially now I'm hearing more and more of this to say, I do not support Hamas, but I support the Palestinian people. Again, know the facts. Hamas was chosen by the Palestinian people, for the Palestinian people, in a democratic election in Gaza. The people chosen them. They knew who is the leader behind them. It's based on the propaganda of Yassin, who said we have to fight with violence. They have chosen in 2005, on the day called in the Jewish calendar Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, they have chosen, brothers and sisters, these people as their leaders. Israel did not choose. Israel pulled up on the 9th of Av in a tragic way. The Israelis were removed from their home for what? For what purpose? So that 20 years later, hundreds and hundreds of terror tunnels will be built and will be established. The reality is the people are Hamas and the people are for Hamas. The majority of the Palestinian people, the vast majority in Gaza are for Hamas. And they have chosen Hamas, and even 200 and plus days to this war, they have not stood up against Hamas. If the majority of the people did not want Hamas, they would have already stood against them. But the reality is the people are Hamas, Hamas are the people, and Hamas does not care about the children. Don't believe that they do. If they did, they wouldn't be shooting the rockets from hospitals and kindergartens and elementary schools. They wouldn't be doing that. They would be returning the hostages already, and the ceasefire would have been reached. But the reality is Hamas wants to continue to control the Gaza Strip. What about the West Bank? Well, Mahmoud Abbas, he have not done election for a long time and delayed them. The reason is what? Again, know the fact. Hamas is the most popular entity in the West Bank itself. And if there was an election today, democratically, Hamas would have been in charge, would have been in leadership today. Let us understand the facts about Hamas. Hamas is choosing to destroy the life. They don't believe in their life. They don't believe that Jewish people have the right to breathe or to exist. How can we even speak about ceasefire? Let us know the truth. Here's my few final words to David. I hope everybody take them to heart, and then I'll tell you the twist in this story.
This is my challenge to every Jew, no matter what you are, where you are. Come, meet your people. Don't be here having a false sense of security. Come to Israel. Meet your Jewish people. See how much we love life. We do not rejoice. I don't know a single Jew that is rejoiced to hear about even a Palestinian death. Not me, not my family, not anybody. We want to be left alone. We want life. We want to say l'chaim. We want everybody, the hostages back.
You sound like an abusive partner. Like, I really hate when you make me hate you. That's what you're saying.
No, we are fighting for survival, David. They took, baby, this is what David said. Let me recap. He says, well, look at all the Palestinian casualties. And I said, wait a second, David. They have took innocent babies. They beheaded men and women.
Same
and
thing.
now he says,
repeat.
no, it's repeat because you don't look at the facts. I'm sorry, you don't look at the facts. And
I'm sorry, but I don't value Israeli babies more than Palestinian babies.
But we have not taken their babies. We don't behead their babies.
No, you're just bombing the shit out of them.
Oh, we're really unprovoked.
Yeah.
Unprovoked. Because they have not taken it in Simchat Torah. You're a Jew. Shame on you. You're a Jew.
Shame on me.
You should know that in Simchat Torah there's a time of joy. It's a time of joy. What are you thinking to yourself?
So joyful to just be dropping 2,000-pound bombs in a highly populated
no
area.
reason, but taking and
Very
raping
joyful.
women,
They
taking
celebrate life.
baby heads and put them in oven. That is okay. That is permissible in the name of justice. Friends, know the chamber of Hamas. Hamas is the people. Hamas is the West. But
Are you
Hamas
like an influencer or something? Like, you got this video.
Yeah, I am an influencer.
Influencer from Texas. Got
and
it.
that's
All right.
an influencer,
Got it.
Israeli influencer.
Gotcha.
I say to him, I say in Hebrew, David חי, עם ישראל חי, ברכות והצלחות לכל עם ישראל, לכל חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל, ישלח להם ברכה והצלחה, חיים ונפש, וצדק וכל הברכות לכל עם ישראל. David says to me, I don't believe in God, and that's, I think, the root problem. He doesn't believe
That
in God.
might be, I don't believe that anybody has been
And by the
given,
way, he doesn't believe in history. So here's the history. Long before Islam, we Jews were there. So guess what? Who is the occupier? Those who came after us. The Inquisition, the Holocaust, all of those who came, they're the occupier. We're not the occupier. We want as Jews to be left alone.
The Holocaust is the occupier, bro.
The Holocaust is a genocide. This is the original genocide, David, my friend.
Oh my God.
God bless the Jewish people, and that's what happened when Jews going the wrong way.
At the end of this very difficult moment with David, I turned to him and I said to him, David, do you want to know the truth? Do you really want to know the truth? And I offered to buy him an airplane ticket to go to Israel. I asked him, David, have you ever visited Israel? Have you ever been around your own people? And he said, no, I'm a Reform Jew. Now I'm an atheist Jew, but I've never been in Israel. And I said to him, it's time for you to meet your family. Let me take you to Israel. Please pray that young men and women like David, who have chosen the wrong side. And you heard David says in the interview, in this debate, I don't believe in God. What is the solution? The solution is truth that found with the Lord himself. May the Lord help young men like David find the truth. You know the truth yourself today, and I pray that as you know the truth and you walk with the truth, you will not abandon the truth. Speak the truth, declare for the truth, and stand for it in these last days, because the truth will be absent. May God allow us to make more impact on young men like David, so that we, as a group of people here in America and in the nations, especially Jewish people, will stand united for Israel, for what is righteous, for what is right. I'm asking you to please hit the share and the like. This encounter was difficult, emotional for me to see Jewish people in such a state. May Mashiach come soon. Please make sure you read the new Hamas and the Fall of Edom, and continue to pray for all of the Jewish people worldwide. God bless you and shalom.